When EA added youth tournaments to career mode, I thought it was a huge step forwards. Playing as academy players is something that people have wanted to do for ages, but be honest, do you even use it? And what does it even do? Is it really the most pointless feature that EA have ever added? Well, those are three of the questions I'm going to try and give you good answers to today. So let's start off with the biggest question. What do you even get from winning a youth tournament? It takes a lot of effort, so it should be a pretty good reward, right? Well, if you didn't already know, these tournaments happen in career mode 6 times a year, so every 60 days. To win the tournament, you have to beat 3 AI teams in the new Rush 5 vs 5 mode. It's actually kind of fun to play Rush in career mode, but only if you change the match time down from 7 minutes to 3. I think it's important to note that your players don't actually get the boost after every game. In this example, we won the first game and forfeited the second match, so if we go into development plans, only one of our players has actually gained any match XP. This was also the guy who was player of the match in the first game, so that leads me to believe that maybe player ratings does have an impact. We'll look a little bit more into that in just a second. We also would go on to win the second game, reaching the final, and again, the only player that has any sign of improvement was Samuel. This is the guy that was man of the match in both games, and in the final, we win. But if we look at the development plan, all of our players are once again on very low match bonuses. Even Samuel, who had pretty decent performances, is now down to very low. Now, to be fair, I played all of these games on beginner difficulty. I scored 1 or 2 goals, and then I put the controller down just to get through things a little bit quicker. But that makes me think that performances matter way more than actually winning the tournament. Can we get the same amount of bonuses that we did from winning 3 matches just then by winning 1 match really big? And could that be the same as actually winning the entire tournament? Well, the quickest way you can actually win any tournament in this game is in 12 minutes. So that's 2 hours of your life spent every season just trying to make your academy players grow a slight bit quicker. If we find out that it's actually just better to get 10 out of 10s in a pretty irrelevant difficulty, then that could speed things up by a lot. So let's do exactly that. We're going to play another tournament, still on beginner difficulty, and we're going to make sure every player gets 10 out of 10 ratings in every match. Let's go. So of course, as usual, we're still on beginner, so we're going to be able to score a ton of goals, and after destroying Ipswich, we actually get 4 10 out of 10 performances. But will this give a big match or a dev boost? Well, 3 of our 7 players actually got no boost at all, which is our goalkeeper and the 2 players we had on the subs bench, but Laskinen, Altonen, Samuel and Howard all did get some kind of match boost. It turns out, it's actually the match performances that matter, not winning the tournament. All you really need is 2 back-to-back 10 out of 10 performances to get the biggest boost on your players. The win of the tournament really does not matter at all. So for all of that effort we've put in, the only reward you really get is a development boost to your young players, and this only lasts for about 3 months. From simulating around the season, I didn't notice that this effect slowly fades either. The biggest boost happens immediately and then it just suddenly disappears around 3 months after you've won or played in the last tournament. But that gives us the question, how big is this boost and is it even worth the effort of chasing or trying to get on your players? Well, to figure out the answer to that question, I've set up another experiment. In Team 1 and Team 2, we have the exact same players, the same ages, the same potential, and the same overall ratings. In our first test, we're going to play all 6 youth tournaments, win all of them, try and get as many 10 out of 10s as possible, and see how fast these guys grow. In our second test, we're going to skip all of that, and just get a general idea of how much they grow without any of this boost. Well, again, it turns out it barely makes any difference. Having average or higher match XP from playing in the youth tournaments does result in your player growing about 1 overall 10% faster. If the development plan says it'll take 24 weeks for him to improve, expect this to drop to between 20 or 22 if you can consistently get 10 out of 10 performances throughout the season. Let's say that a 60 rated player only has 80 potential. If you keep them at the academy and match XP is always average or higher, he's going to reach his potential about 1 year quicker than normal. Don't be surprised by this number because it sounds like a lot, but really, it's the difference between him reaching his potential in 6.5 or 7.5 years. It is barely noticeable in the long run. So now we know the difference that development boosts can give to a player. Are they actually worth changing? Or is it not just easier to crank up the youth development speed to fast and just totally ignore this new part of career mode? Well, let's find out the answer to that too. It turns out, yes, it absolutely is worth just skipping these. If you don't want to do tournaments, just change that one setting before you start your save, and you can fully ignore them. There is no benefit to doing them. Fast dev speed is about 25% faster than normal, and if you change this one setting, it only applies to academy players, so the rest of your save should be just as hard. If you combine fast development speed with good coaches, you can have players growing by 5 to 10 overall per season. Because most players grow every 20 to 25 weeks, the 10% bonus from playing youth matches is really only equal to about 0.2 overall a year. If we compare this to the two of the other things that improve players faster, which are 5-star coaches, they can give 2 to 3 overall a year, while boosting the development speed from normal to high will also make your player improve 2 to 3 overall faster than just leaving it on normal. What I'm trying to say here is, sure, youth developments do work, they're not a broken part of career mode, but they are just so painfully slow that unless you really enjoy playing Rush, I would just change one of these settings and totally ignore them. But now we have all of the data, I think it's time to ask probably the most important question when it comes to playing a video game. Does the youth tournament add to the feeling of managing a club? That's what we play career mode for after all. We want to be football managers, but probably don't have the qualifications to do it in real life. Honestly, I think I'm about to give my first positive answer of the video, because I think it is partially true that this does make managing a club feel more fun. I do think it'd be more fun if it was maybe simulated 11 versus 11 league matches that you could drop into random games of rather than play the entire tournaments yourself, but then you'd constantly have to have a full squad in your academy, and I know EA doesn't really like you having more than 7 or 8 players in there. Maybe EA could just add some fake players that join up if you don't have enough players in your academy, and then you could do 11 versus 11 matches, but again, it feels like that's unlikely to happen anytime soon. One thing that I am a little bit more confident that is going to be added to the game at some point, probably in the next 5 years, is some kind of way of playing Rush with your youth players against other people online. I think that it would help EA probably sell more cosmetics, it would probably get people into career mode, and it would just make EA a little bit of money, while also probably being the first stage of some kind of online career mode system. It might just be a test here or there, and believe me, I've not heard a single rumor about this, it's just something I've got a feeling is coming. But I think it would be kind of cool to play your 5 versus 5 matches with your academies against other academies from around the world. It could be, as I say, the start of online career mode, or it could just be something you do with your friends. Either way, I think it's a pretty good idea. There is no doubt that being able to try your youth players before promoting them is a good thing. I'm just not sure that the Rush format and the tournaments and the amount of boost we get at the minute really does work that well when it comes to career. I'm actually kind of interested to find out how many of you guys do go on to play your youth tournaments in your careers, because I've got a feeling it's not that many. I've done a community poll which you can vote in by going onto my channel and then onto the community feed, and then we can find out the answer all together once and for all. But thank you for watching, really do appreciate it. Hopefully you've learned a little bit about youth tournaments today, and I think it probably is one of the most pointless features in FC25. Thank you for watching. I'll see you soon, cheers and goodbye.